Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know I love it when you send over stuff that makes me really think. And this material on unlocking your potential.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Marie Forleo's interview with Dr. Joe Dispenza is just pure gold.
Right?
So get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into the mind-body connection.
Okay.
And we're going to be exploring this idea that we can actually consciously create our own reality.
And what's so remarkable is that Dr. Joe Dispenza isn't just talking the talk.
Right.
He's living proof of these principles.
Yeah.
He literally used these techniques to heal from a really severe injury that doctors thought might leave him permanently disabled.
Exactly. To be told that you might never walk again,
Right.
and then not only recover but thrive, that's some serious inspiration right there.
It is.
But it also begs the question,
Okay.
if it's possible to create such profound change,
Yeah.
why does it often feel so darn difficult?
Yeah.
It's like our brains have this built-in resistance to anything new.
It's true, and there's a scientific reason for that.
Okay.
It all comes down to neuroplasticity.
Okay.
Which is basically the brain's ability to change and adapt throughout our lives.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Imagine your brain is like a path in the woods.
Okay.
The more you walk that path, the more defined it becomes,
Right.
making it easier to follow the same route over and over.
Right.
Neuroplasticity means you can create new paths,
Okay.
but it takes a conscious effort to kind of forge those new connections.
So we get stuck in these neural ruts,
Yeah.
even if the path we're on isn't really serving us anymore. Like my habit of reaching for the potato chips when I'm stressed.
Right.
My brain thinks it's helping, but my waistline begs to differ.
For sure.
But okay, I get the whole neuroplasticity thing.
Yeah,
Our brains love those familiar patterns.
they do.
But how do we actually change those ingrained patterns?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to things like self-sabotaging behaviors
Mhm.
or limiting beliefs.
That's where Dr. Dispenza's work gets really fascinating.
Okay.
He doesn't just talk about the brain's power to change.
Yeah.
He gives us the tools to actually do it.
Okay.
And one of the most important tools is understanding this profound connection between our mind and body. He argues that our thoughts aren't just these fleeting things happening in our heads.
Right.
They have a direct impact on our physical state, our energy levels, even our gene expression.
Wait, hold up. Gene expression.
Yeah,
Are we talking about epigenetics here?
absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Dr. Dispenza talks about how even things like stress or positive emotions can switch certain genes on or off,
Wow.
influencing our health and well-being. That's epigenetics in action. The idea that our environment and our choices can actually influence how our genes are expressed.
Oh.
It's not just about the genes we inherit.
Right.
It's about how we live with them.
So it's not just our thoughts influencing our bodies,
Right.
but our bodies and our experiences are feeding back into our mental state,
Yeah.
even affecting things at a genetic level. That's mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
But it also makes me think,
Yeah.
if our thoughts are so powerful, how do we actually harness that power effectively?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
It's one thing to say our minds create our reality, but I think we're all kind of looking for the how-to manual here.
Right. And Dr. Dispenza gives us a really powerful technique for that,
Okay.
which he calls becoming the placebo.
Okay.
It's about shifting from a state of wanting something to a state of already being that person,
Okay.
embodying the feeling of the outcome that you desire.
Okay. I've heard a bit about the placebo effect,
Yeah.
but how does that actually work in a practical sense?
Yeah.
Let's say my goal is to be more confident in my work.
Okay.
Am I supposed to just walk around pretending I'm super confident until it magically becomes true?
Well, it's more nuanced than just pretending.
Okay.
Dispenza talks about how our brains don't actually know the difference between an actual experience and a vividly imagined one. So if we can consistently visualize ourselves acting with confidence, feeling that sense of self-assurance in our mind's eye,
Right.
our brains start to build the neural connections to support that reality.
Wow.
We're literally rewiring ourselves for confidence.
So instead of waiting to feel confident before we take action,
Right.
we can use visualization to kind of create that feeling
Yeah.
and let that guide our behavior.
Exactly.
I like that it puts us back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
But then there's another piece of the puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Belief.
Yeah.
Because I remember from Marie Forleo's interview, Dr. Joe talked a lot about how important belief is
Yes.
in making lasting change.
It's huge.
What did he say about that?
He said something really powerful, and I'm paraphrasing here.
Okay.
But he said, your beliefs act like filters on your reality. So if you don't believe something is possible,
Yeah.
your brain will literally filter out information that contradicts that belief.
Hold on. Are you saying our brains will ignore evidence if it doesn't fit with our preconceived notions?
It's not that our brains are deliberately trying to be stubborn,
Okay.
but they are wired to create a cohesive story
Mm-hmm.
about who we are and what's possible for us.
Okay.
Think about it. If we've always believed we're not good enough or not worthy of success,
Yeah.
we'll unconsciously seek out experiences that confirm that belief,
Right.
even if there's plenty of evidence to the contrary.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So we're not just fighting our habits, but also these deeply ingrained beliefs that may have been with us since childhood?
Right.
That's both daunting and empowering.
Yeah.
Daunting, because it highlights how much of this stuff is happening under the surface.
Right.
But empowering, because if we created those beliefs, maybe we can actually change them.
Exactly. And that's where practices like mindfulness and meditation come in,
Okay.
not just as stress relievers,
Right.
but as tools to become aware of those subconscious beliefs that are running the show.
Good.
Once we can shine a light on them, then we can start to challenge their validity
Okay.
and choose different thoughts and beliefs that support our growth.
So we're rewiring our brains on a neurological level
Yeah.
with things like visualization
Yes.
and also becoming aware of and rewriting those limiting beliefs.
It's a process.
We're basically like the authors of our own internal code,
I like that.
which is pretty incredible.
It is.
But there's one more thing I wanted to ask about, something about different levels of motivation.
You're talking about Dr. Joe's concept of the highest form of motivation, right?
Yeah.
He distinguishes between external motivators,
Okay.
like chasing material possessions or seeking approval from others,
Right.
and internal motivators,
Mm-hmm.
which are driven by our core values and a desire for personal growth.
That makes sense. We've all experienced how fleeting those external motivators can be.
Oh, yeah.
You hit a goal, you get that surge of dopamine,
Right.
and then you're already on to the next thing, never quite feeling satisfied.
Exactly. Dispenza argues that true lasting fulfillment comes from aligning with our highest selves,
Okay.
which he describes as that part of us that is connected to something greater,
Mm-hmm.
something beyond our ego-driven desires. He's not saying that external goals are bad,
Right.
but they're not the ultimate source of happiness or fulfillment.
So how do we tap into that highest form of motivation?
Yeah.
How do we even find that part of ourselves that's connected to something bigger?
Yeah, it's a good question.
That feels kind of vague and abstract.
It is a little bit vague, right?
Yeah.
But it's about asking ourselves some deep questions.
Okay.
And then being willing to listen to the answers, even if they're scary or unfamiliar.
Okay.
Questions like, what brings me joy?
Mhm.
What are my core values? What kind of impact do I want to have on the world?
Okay.
And most importantly, who do I want to become?
It's like that whole know thyself thing, but like on a deeper level.
Right.
Not just our likes and dislikes, but our core essence,
Right.
our purpose.
Yeah.
And you're right. Those are big questions.
They are,
The kind that might make you want to grab a journal and just sit with them for a while.
for sure.
And that's where the real journey begins. The journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
Totally.
It's not about finding all the answers right away.
Yeah.
It's about staying curious,
Yeah.
being open to new possibilities,
Mm.
and trusting that like the path will unfold as we walk it.
Absolutely.
And maybe the most exciting part is that it's not a one-time destination.
right.
We're always evolving,
Yeah.
always becoming,
Totally.
which I have to say makes that whole future self thing a lot less intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from neuroplasticity to epigenetics,
Right.
the power of visualization, the importance of aligning with our highest selves.
It's a lot.
My brain is buzzing with new insights.
Yeah.
But for our listener who's maybe feeling a little overwhelmed right now,
Yeah.
what's the one key takeaway you want them to remember from this deep dive?
You have more power than you realize.
Mhm.
So often we feel like we're at the mercy of our circumstances,
Right.
our genetics, our past experiences.
Yeah.
But Dr. Dispenza's work reminds us that we are not passive bystanders in our own lives.
Mm.
We have the power to change our thoughts,
Right.
our beliefs, our habits,
Mhm.
and ultimately our reality.
It's all about taking control of that mind-body connection
Yes.
and realizing that our thoughts aren't just these abstract things.
Right.
They have a real, tangible impact on our physical well-being,
Yeah.
our energy levels, even our gene expression.
It all matters.
So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to start their own journey
Yeah.
of unlocking their potential,
Mm.
what's one practical step they can take today?
Start with awareness.
Okay.
Pay attention to your thoughts. What kind of stories are you telling yourself about who you are and what is possible for you?
Okay.
Are those stories serving you, or are they holding you back? Once you bring awareness to those subconscious patterns,
Right.
you can start to make conscious choices about the thoughts that you want to feed
Okay.
and the beliefs that you want to cultivate.
It's like we said earlier.
Yeah.
Becoming the author of our own internal code.
Yes.
And that, my friend, is a superpower worth cultivating. So until next time, keep asking those big questions. Keep exploring those uncharted territories within yourself. And keep believing in the limitless possibilities that unfold when you tap into the power of your own mind.